Hello, everybody. My name is Kyle. This is Kyle's Trail Miles, where I talk about all things running, trail running, everything in between. And it is Monday, so it is time for a weekly recap. Let's dive right in. All right. So last week was a great week. It's the middle of December up here in Canada. It's cold. It's the off season. My goal is 70 kilometers per week. That's my A goal. I beg, borrow, and steal that goal. I have a family, kids, a full-time job, all the responsibilities that come with it. But some, you gotta sliver it in. And this week was a weird week when it comes to training. So let's jump right in. I'm gonna skip a few, kind of just sort of brush past them because the weekend is where the story really starts. So Monday was a good day. My wife and I did a crazy workout, a weight workout. We usually do the Caroline Girvan Iron series, but this one workout, it uses these big box step things that we don't have. So she always picks something from the Epic series, which is horrible. And this one was horrible. It was like 45 minutes of just like quad shenanigans, and my legs were very sore after. After that, I wasn't running. That was it. So we did that. That was good. And then on Tuesday, pretty standard 10K run. Felt good about that. No real story to tell on that one. Did it on the treadmill, which I usually do during the week because it's dark this time of year when I get home from work. And I'm kind of a baby when it comes to cold/dark, all that stuff. So then Wednesday, my son performed in his first ever band concert, so we went to that, and then he did such a great job that on the way home I was like, well, let's get something to eat. Like, what do you want to? So he chose McDonald's, and I didn't want to, but I'm ordering him a Big Mac meal. I mean, I gotta order myself one, so I did, and I don't know if there's any like scientific evidence to back this up, but I'm pretty sure if you eat a Big Mac meal and then you exercise, I think you die. I don't think you can make it through that. So I didn't want to risk it. I just, chilled on the couch that night. So then Thursday rolls around. And so Thursday is usually the day, Thursday night football. I like to kind of clock some good kilometers that night. My wife and I did a workout. It says it was an hour and 27 minutes, but it definitely wasn't. I got a call from a buddy about halfway through, so we chatted for a while. And then I finished the workout. I hit pause on my watch, but I don't know, Strava thinks I was still doing it for an hour and 27 minutes. So it was really only a half hour, but it's a good weight workout. And then I did 5 hours on the treadmill, 5 kilometers on the treadmill. So by then it was already after 9 o'clock. So figured that was good for the night. So this is a bit of a problem though. So now I'm coming into the weekend and I've only done 15 kilometers. So I've got 55 kilometers to go. But it is supposed to be nice out this weekend, so I'm optimistic that I can kind of get outside, which always makes the kilometers go by a lot smoother. So Friday, what I do, because Friday we consider kind of our fun night, usually have pizza or go out to eat, and then after that, of course, I'm not working out, just hanging out with the kids. So usually what I do is as soon as I get home on Friday, I go for a run or I hit the treadmill, and then when I'm done, then we sort of start the evening. So that's what I did. I was going to do 15Ks, but after 10, I was, kind of just want to get the evening rolling. So 10 was enough. So now I've got 45Ks to do over the weekend. But there's a catch. A few weeks ago, we'd ordered a new fridge, and it was going to be delivered on Saturday. So they said, well, the day before, they'll give you a window of when it's going to be delivered. So I'm thinking, okay, like hopefully it's in the morning. The worst would be if it's in the afternoon, because we also had a family dinner to go to in the evening. So I had to be home by 4:20, so I could shower, get ready to rock, and then we could leave at 4:40. So no matter what I was doing in my day, I had to be home by 4:20. So I'm like, okay, please bring this fridge in the morning. So Friday night, I get a call, and it's the place we ordered the fridge from, and they say, your window is between 12 and 3. And I'm like, oh, like you got to be kidding me. Like 12 and 3, that's the worst window ever. But like, okay, fine. Maybe I can get out in the morning for a run. And then if they bring it like right at noon or hopefully 1, we're good to go. So here's how this day goes down. So I go out for a run Saturday morning, and it's kind of cold. And again, I don't like running when it's too cold, so I waited kind of as long as I could. It was 10:18, and I had to be back by 11:30 because I had to help my wife take everything out of the fridge. And my wife was home, but I wanted to be home for this whole fridge situation just to kind of quarterback it. So, anyways, so what I could have done is I could have just went out, clocked like 10 to 12 kilometers, been well on my way to my 20 for the day, and then been good to go. But I didn't want to do that. Ever since last week when I went up Ladies Fest Switchback, and I went up at the end of my week, at the end of I wasn't really even trying that hard. I came in 11th on that segment, and I was like, I got to go back and win this segment. Like I know I can do it. So that was my plan. Like, I'm going out, I'm winning this segment. So the segment is right here. It starts right here, and it goes up. It's exactly a kilometer. It goes up this hill. This hill's pretty, like, reasonably steep but runnable. And then it goes up this little kind of switchback. This is paved, and then this is like gravel. So I thought, if I can go cruising up here in 3.5 minutes, that's doable. And then 1 minute for the switchback. That puts me at 4.5 minutes. The record is like 5:08, 5 minutes 8 seconds. So I'm like, this is definitely doable. Like I can do this. So I park here where I always park. And I come down here, and I'm kind of just slowly running, just kind of warming things up. And then right about here, I kind of started walk running because I wanted to be 100% fresh. So then I get to this little like switchback to get to the start. And I slowed right down because I wanted my watch to be right at the top of the minute so I could just glance down quickly and kind of see where I was. So I'm actually just like kind of standing there, just waiting. And so finally my watch gets close. I'm like, okay, let's roll. So I get to this little top. I know exactly where the segment starts. I hit here, and it's just full send. Everything I had. I come ripping up this thing. Right about here, about halfway, I'm feeling really good, but I can tell I kind of came out a little bit too fast. I look down at my watch. My pace is like 4:30, which is well under where I need to be, 4:30 per kilometer. My heart rate's like 178. My heart rate never gets in the 170s, or very, very rarely. And so, but I felt great. So I'm like, all right, let's keep rocking. So I come flying up here. Everything's feeling good. I kind of slowed down just a tiny bit right here, just to like, not, you know what I mean? Like just a little bit. But as soon as I hit this turnaround, I look down at my watch, and it's like 3:40. I'm like, I'm right on time. So I come ripping around this corner, and now I'm less than a minute up to the top. So I come cruising up there. As soon as I hit about halfway, I gave it everything I had. I hit the top. I look down at my watch. I'm well past where I know the cutoff is. Look down at my watch. It's like 4 minutes and 35 seconds. So like I just crushed this. I crushed it. So top person has 5:08. I just did it in 4:35 or whatever. I'm like, this is awesome. There's like a bench right up there. I sit down on the bench. I'm like, relishing in my glory, and I'm so happy. I don't know why I was so happy, but then I'm like, okay, now what should I do? So I can either kind of go back here towards the car, or I kind of wanted to run down this hill. That's one of my things that I'm working on, because obviously when you're running the mountains and long ultras, like you got to run down, and running down, that's hard. But anyways, and a buddy of mine is always running down mountains, and so I'm trying to run down things. So anyways, so I go running down here, and then I circle around. This whole time I'm just whistling Dixie, like, I crushed this segment. That was my goal. I gave up doing like 12 kilometers, but I got number one on this segment. So I get back to the car. I couldn't, upload to Strava fast enough. So I upload to Strava, and normally it'll say right at the top, like number one, it gives you those accolades, and it's like not saying anything. I'm like, what? Like, what is going on? Like, maybe it needs a minute. Like, it was so fast that it needs a minute to. No, it was not working. So I click on this thing, and it says I'm my second fastest time on Ladies Fest 2024. I'm like, what is going on here? So I do some investigating. And look at this. It counted like this little switchbacky area where I was like walking up. So because it's so close, it obviously didn't. That was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking. So here I am, heartbroken. I just gave everything I had to this segment, and it doesn't give me number one. But I will say this. There's lessons to be learned in everything. And if you can take anything away from this, take this away from this. That I realized in that moment that there's more to life than leaderboards. You know, I got to take a step back from this and just understand that, like, you know, leaderboards aren't that important. I just kind of learned about them actually last year. And, you know, it's what's in here. It's if you know that you achieved something, that's all that matters. Obviously, I'm just kidding. I want the leaderboard. Like, what? When's the last time ESPN phoned somebody and said, we want to do an interview with you because we know you're the best in your heart? Never. That's never happened. And I want to be number one on this leaderboard. I earned it. It still bothers me. So anyways, but here's where I take a little bit of satisfaction in this situation. Okay, I'm just gonna pull this up. Overall leaderboard. Okay, the number one spot is Chris Everett. Okay, March 14th, 2023, did it in 5:09. Chris Everett is out there in the world right now, living maybe his best life. He has no idea the storm that is coming for him on this leaderboard. And it's coming, all right? Now that I have a little bit better sense, I think I can beat my time. I think I can go sub 4:30. You mark my words. Chris Everett, sub 4:30, next weekend. It's coming. So, anyways, there you go. So, I finished that run. Horribly disappointed, obviously. And what's going on here? So now I get home, unload the fridge. I'm telling my wife, and it was funny, is before I left, I said to my daughter, I was showing her the leaderboard, and I said, hey, next time you see me, I'm going to be number one on this leaderboard. And she's like, okay. And so I get home, and she's like, so are you number one? Yeah. No, I'm not. I tried to explain to her that I am number one, but I'm not. And yeah, she didn't get it. So anyways, so now the fridge comes, so we're waiting for the fridge. Fridge doesn't come. No phone call. And it's just beautiful outside. Like almost shorts and t-shirt weather outside. I'm standing at the window just like vibrating, like what is going on here? So I wait until 2:30 because they're supposed to call me a half hour before it comes. My window is between 12 to 3. I wait till 2:30, nothing. So I call the place and I'm like, hey, what's going on here? So he says, oh yeah, they're running behind. I'll give you a call. So I'm like, okay. So he calls me up and he's like, oh yeah, sorry, we're running way behind. We'll be there in 20 minutes. And I was like, okay, sounds good. I get it, man. Things happen. So I'm like, okay, I got 20 minutes. So there's a little run I do around my neighborhood. It takes me about 15 minutes, like 3K. So I'm like, I'm going. So my wife is like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, I gotta go. So I go out, I rip around 3K, felt great, blew off a little bit of frustration from the morning. And then as I was coming back to the house, the fridge guy is there. So, okay, quarterback that's good. They were only there, I don't even know, 20 minutes, half hour. They get out. So now I've got, I can't even remember how long, like half an hour before I have to be in the shower. So I'm like, I'm heading back out. Again, my wife's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I gotta go. So I head out. By now it's getting like actually a little bit chilly, but still not bad. Nice that it wasn't windy. So I went out for a 5K run, felt great. And then we went out for dinner. And then when I got back, I still had 5K to do to hit my 20. So I did that on the treadmill Saturday night, hit my 20. So it was an awesome day, and it was a very frustrating day. Actually, yeah, it wasn't an awesome day. It was a very frustrating day from a running perspective. Got screwed out of my record, and I couldn't run outside because that would have been an awesome day to do like a long trail run, get in some elevation. It was just so beautiful out. No wind, but I'm not dwelling on it, okay? So anyways, so then Sunday I wake up and I'm like, okay, it's kind of cool. It's not like, I wouldn't say it's warm, but it's definitely runnable. And the one advantage we have right now, which is crazy for this time of year, is the trails are all dry. Normally this time of year, if it's warm enough to run outside, the trails are muddy, or they're really icy, and so I don't do a lot of trail running in the winter. But right now, for some reason, we haven't had a lot of precipitation recently, so they're very dry. So they're very runnable. So I'm like, okay. I didn't want to do any elevation only because like I was kind of just feeling my legs a little bit, and I knew obviously I want to do 70K this week, that whole train, so you can train again tomorrow type thing. And so I knew I wanted to run on trails because I was like, for me, running on treadmill or the road is great, but I can start to feel it in my legs after a while. Whereas running on trails, I think just because you're always moving a little bit differently, I just find that so good. Anyways, so I knew I didn't want to do any elevation. I knew I wanted to run on trails. So I went out, and this was a really interesting run for me because I do not enjoy like slow running. The only time, I will take that back, I do enjoy like kind of slow running if I'm with my buddies and we're running through the mountains and stuff. Then it's super fun. We're joking around and sightseeing and stuff. Then that's really fun. But if I'm by myself, I tend to like to kind of speed things up a little bit. But this run, I just kind of decided like I'm not going to look at my watch. I'm just going to run at whatever pace feels like I could do it all day. So I come out on the trails. There's a really flat trail that goes like the full length of the valley, like all the way down to here. And so I just started cruising on this trail, and it was just like, it just felt glorious. Like I was running pretty slow for what I would normally run, but my heart rate was low. It was like high 120s, and I was just really enjoying the day. So I got down to the end, which is about 8K, and then I came back, and then I found, normally I run right by the river here because I won't get into it, but I found if I run kind of in the trees here, it really kind of blocks a lot of the wind. And so anyway, so I kind of just cruised around there, and then I went over to the other side of the valley because you can really get out of the wind there. Anyways, I did 25K. My watch died, so it didn't actually say 25K, but it was a great run. Like, it was just one of those, I've never really had like a recovery run before, but at the end of the 3 hours I was out there, I didn't feel tired at all. My legs felt great. I could have kept going other than I was getting a little bit cold, but I just felt great. I felt it was just it was probably one of the most enjoyable runs that I've had in a long time. Like, it was just really, really a great run. And what was so weird about it is I felt better after that run. Like, my legs, oh yeah, that's one other thing. Before I went out, I could kind of tell like my legs were just, I don't know, a little bit tight, a little bit, I don't know. So I really spent some time. I did my race day, because you have I have different levels of stretching that I'll do before different runs. So I did my race day stretch, which is probably about a 20 to 30 minute stretching, foam rolling. Like, I really get in there and make sure everything's loose. And so I did that before this run, and I just felt so good. That was just a great run. And it was, again, like 626 kilometer. That was just great. It was great. And the other thing I did too is there's all these, I've never seen these in my life. I've been running down in this valley. I've lived here my whole life. I've been running down in this valley for 25 years. I've never seen these ever, but there's these signs all over the valley that says, like, historical signs. Hey, this in 1895, this happened here. I've never one time seen these signs, but they've been there a long time. Like, they're worn, you can tell. They've been there for many years. And so this is the first time. Every time I'd run by one, I'd just stop for a minute, read the sign. Yeah, it's just a really good run. Anyways, and I felt great after the run. Like, when I got home, I felt great. My legs felt great afterwards. Today, my legs feel great. I can't wait to go on the treadmill tonight. Yeah, it was just a really good run. I got to do more of those. So, anyways, and then what I did, because actually I still hadn't reached my goal, and that was crazy. So I'm coming back. At the last couple kilometers, I'm just like, okay, I'm ready for this to be over. I just want to hit my 70 kilometers. And then with, right as I was like almost at my car, I looked down and my watch dies. I got an Apple 7 watch, and I love it, but the battery just doesn't last long enough. So this year I'm going to get a new one, which I'll make another video about. But anyways, yeah, awesome run on Sunday. Awesome week. Oh yeah, so then I came down to the treadmill last night, and I just kind of like hobbled along for 180 meters just to get over my goal. So that was it. Awesome week. I cannot wait for this week. I'm geared up. that recovery run on Sunday was like, it was exactly what I needed. I've never understood this idea of a recovery run. I was always like, if you want to recover, just don't run that day. But I don't know, that run, it did something for me. Maybe it was the trails. Anyways, whatever. That's my week. Thanks, everyone. We will talk to you soon.